We have Azar Rojbi joining us, a Tunisian social justice activist, author, researcher, and an executive member of the Mobilization Against War and Occupation, joining us to give her insights on the developments in Tunisia. Let me ask you this, Azar. A low turnout but an overwhelmingly backing for the new constitution. Why should a segment of the population vote to give the president an absolute authority? And why didn't the opponents vote down the constitution instead of boycotting the referendum?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. And as you clearly mentioned right before me, this voter turnout is extremely low. It's only 27.5% of eligible registered voters. And sure, as you mentioned, 92% of those that voted yes. But if we think about it, in a country like Tunisia with 12 million population, that is basically only 2.5 million people out of the almost 9 million registered voters that are supporting Kais Saied and that have voted for this referendum. So basically, one might wonder, where are all the other 6.5 million Tunisians? As you mentioned, there have been a campaign calling for the boycott of this referendum. And this referendum is seen by a lot of the opposition as something that is illegitimate. And I would like to add also, it's important to look and what the criticism of this referendum from the beginning when Kais Saied has announced it. It's a very illegitimate process because at first the constitution was prepared. Well, this proposed constitution that Kais was bringing forward was prepared without involving Tunisian civil society or Tunisian political scene. The referendum itself was based on a failed consultation where only 530,000 Tunisians have participated. So again and again, we see that the majority of people in Tunisia are not in support of this referendum. The reality is that this is another undemocratic move by Kais Saied. And basically, Kais cannot solve the problems of Tunisia with just putting an iron fist and pushing for an undemocratic authoritarian regime. And so he is trying, yes, to confuse certain people by claiming that he has the solutions to the Tunisian economical problem. But we clearly see that this has failed. His strategy is failing. The majority of people in Tunisia have boycotted this referendum because they think it's legitimate and they did not want to participate in this farce that Kais has been putting.
Well, Azar, can you walk us through the reasons why Saied is changing the constitution and how likely is the move to ease Tunisia's political turbulence? Also, tell us about the opposition's top concerns.
Yes, and actually, basically, this latest move by Kais Saied is another move that he's pushing toward consolidating power in his hands. It's been ongoing since he started as the president of Tunisia. One after one, he's been pushing for more and more undemocratic moves, taking power out of the parliament, taking power out of the judicial system, and wanting to consolidate this out of his hands. But as I said earlier, this is not a solution to Tunisia's economical issues. To solve the economical issues in Tunisia, Kais and anybody that would be have to bring all the Tunisian people together. But what Kais is doing is in some way dividing the country, but really he's alienating people from him by pushing himself more and more to what people basically opposed by toppling Ben Ali in 2011 was the dictatorship, was the consolidation of the power in the hands of only Kais or only one man. And so in this case, what Kais has to present is not going to improve the life or the conditions of the Tunisian people. And this is one of the main concerns of the opposition. The opposition is calling this referendum illegitimate. It's saying it's going to take Tunisia back to a dictatorship. This new constitution abolishes and undermines democratic process in Tunisia. It undermines the independence of parliament, the independence of the judicial system, and it basically destroys a lot of the gains that the Tunisian revolution brought and the gains that were brought after the 2014 constitution. So in addition to all those which are concerns of the opposition, there's also the economical issue.
Very well.
Because crisis Saied also, and I would just like to add, is basically imposing austerity measures to satisfy demands of the International Monetary Fund. So the economical measures put forward by him are going to deepen poverty in the country. They're going to deepen anger in the population in Tunisia. So he's not presenting any solution to the economical crisis in Tunisia.
Okay.
People want a solution in Tunisia, and he's not the solution. Qais and his dictatorship project is not the solution to Tunisia.
Thank you so much. Azza Rojbi joining us from Vancouver, Tunisian social justice activist, author and researcher, and executive member of the Mobilization Against War and Occupation. Thank you so much for joining us. It was very nice having you on our show.